Yeah, it's cottonmouth heaven. They lay up in there because it's damp. But looks like we got some elderberries coming on. I ran into one. Their webs are like Spider-Man. And they're like artists or something. I can't figure it out. But they literally just sat there and just ate the paint off of that. And I ran our wire through that. So it's hard for me personally because I like things to look good. Not a big heavy lift today. We're kind of coming in behind the 8-ball, kind of dragging today a little bit, but definitely got to get to 2 traps. One we call Bigfoot, been there for years, very productive trap. Kind of a neat trap. Don't particularly like the design of it, but once you see it, you'll understand why. Just a lot of trees, hard to deal with. And that's pretty much it. We're going to get to Bigfoot, get to another one we call the Project. And these are 2 traps that are actually circling the swamp that we were at last night. So there's 3 traps at swamp, circle that swamp. So these are the 2 on the other side, and just routine maintenance. We've got a single at another system we call Lottery. Looking at probably gonna drop routinely single, solo bore. And got the solo bore coming in down in Central Florida, out on the prairie with the double gate system. Now, to some, it might seem crazy. We'd flip the switch on him and drive 2.5 hours one way and kill him. Remove him, and then drive 2.5 hours back. But that project is really important to us down there. It's not just crop fields, it's restoration, and we are getting some headway here after our breach on this west side of the property line. So good chance we might flip the switch on him tonight and head down there and do that number. So I haven't woken up yet, but I'll get there. I'm just kind of dragging today, boy. I mean, we got pretty warm down there in the swamp last night, and can't seem to get enough fluids in me today. But hang on, and here we go. Alrighty. I'm awake. Good drive up here to Bigfoot, and I'm awake. Cotton field this year, so when you learn about crop rotations, the year that it's cotton, we feel a little bit better and we can sleep better. The year that it's peanuts, it's always a nervous year, especially during planting season, but it's cotton this year. Generally, the hogs won't mess with the cotton unless they're in there just being stupid, being hogs, and they're looking for secondary peanuts from last year. Then they'll get in there and be kind of goofy, but fortunately this year they've been very well behaved. So we're going to ease down to Bigfoot. We got the Tacoma here, got the big 4-wheeler, and sometimes you can almost drive to the edge of the trap, but it's tough. Some of you may know about terraces, so when they pull or cut terraces, that keeps the erosion down in the fields if there's a drop. Terraces can be a little tricky. So anyway, it's just easier to take the 4-wheeler. Then we got to head over that direction to the project and do maintenance on that one. So I'm gonna turn you around here, and you can kind of see. It's a beautiful day in South Georgia. I always say that, but it really is. I mean, it's like 85 degrees. It's cool for us. Humidity's pretty high, but compared to last night, it's a cool day. A little bit of an overcast, so I'm a weatherman now. We got this, front coming. No, I'm joking. But we're gonna head down to Bigfoot, show you how it works. It has been a very good trap for us. Very problematic for squirrels. It has been the worst squirrel trap ever. Squirrels wear that trap out. And you go, well, how does that work, man? They just eat the hell out of everything, like they got nothing better to do. Here I am providing you with a meal every day of corn, and you still want to eat the paint off our control box. You want to try to destroy the on-time feeder. You want to eat the backup battery wire, chew on the antenna to the mine camera. I could go on for hours. So anyway, we're going to run down there, and hopefully y'all going to get to see Bigfoot in action. Okay, so we're down here at the Bigfoot trap. I'm going to give you a little viewpoint of what the Bigfoot looks like. It's a standard Jagger Pro 12 panel single gate. It's not the brand new gate, it's an older gate. This trap has probably been here for 3 years, I would say, give or take. We're gonna run, you'll see here, we're running a ice camera right there, and then we've got this creek. It's kind of a wet weather creek that runs all the way down to the swamp, which isn't that far. And a lot of times corn will actually get washed into it from the trap, and then they'll follow that up. Now, as I said earlier, up on the hill, we have a lot of issues with squirrels with this trap. I mean, squirrels wear this trap out. They've eaten the paint off the control box, confident that it's a lead-free paint. Not saying we should go to not a lead paint, but I'm just saying that I don't understand their thought process. You know, what you got to think about is, you know, we're giving them a meal every day, and this is the love that we're feeling. I'm not feeling the love here. So it's been a problem. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and pop our heads in the trap, go ahead and put the safety pin in, kind of walk you through the system, show you the mine camera setup, and then kind of show you where it's at in relationship to the field. It's actually fairly close to the field, but we know they come up this drainage ditch. Now, the trap that we were at last night, that we trapped 16, Spring Hill, is literally not very far through the woods, but we're trying to protect 2 fields, and there's a swamp in the middle. So we figured out years ago that we needed to basically run 2 traps. We just had to. Because if they find whatever we're trying to protect on that side, we got problems. So 2 traps generally would never be this close together, in my opinion. But it works for here. So let me flip this camera around so you can see what we got going on. So you'll see here our little furry friends. I mean, it's almost like they went to graphic school or something, or like artist or something. I can't figure it out, but they literally just sat there and just ate the paint off of that. It's not uncommon. That's the support for your antenna. It's not uncommon for them to eat that. This has got one of Wyatt's devices to protect the trigger. So we're going to go ahead and put the safety pin in. It's not a safety class. Just put the pin in. I'm telling you, it ain't worth it. If something goes wrong, that thing drops on you. So get up underneath here. So you kind of see this trap was very difficult to get in here. We've had a lot of changes over the years. But you see, we've got a little road, not a big road, just to get the four-wheeler in. And ultimately what I'll do today is I'll pop that panel out, I'll pull that four-wheeler in. For some of you, it's like, hey, you know, that's putting scent in there. Well, I'm in here. It's the humans are the problem. Whatever that four-wheeler leaves behind is not the problem. So it's us that's the problem. So you see, we kind of blended it in through the trees. You can see here over the years, you know, the water's washed off the field there, washed some soil in. The panels are kind of, you know, jammed in there. A lot of coons like this trap. And then there's the Hog Cutters big pole. That was our first original ammo can theory that we had to do something. We lost 2 backup battery boxes here, probably a half a dozen backup battery wires from squirrels chewing them. So we went to the gray flex conduit. They chewed through that. It's plastic. So kind of hard to see probably, but ultimately what we did is we went to the flex aluminum conduit and ran our wire through that. So it's hard for me personally because I like things to look good. I like my work to look good. I just think I like things to look tight and good. Hog trapping's tough. It's Gorilla Tape, Gorilla Caulk, ammo cans, just trying to make it work and not losing antennas. We've had the squirrel chew the antenna. This is the first idea of the owl, which we've shown in other videos. Clearly it doesn't work. I've had squirrels chew on the owl, so that's a pretty good indicator they don't give a damn about the owl. Over here we had some washing where we actually started to get a hole. So we had to replace the plywood on the roof of the big pole because the squirrels ate it. So we just shoved that in there, and now we've got a good bank. It's doing a good job. And there you go. So we're going to go ahead and do our routine maintenance, swap the batteries and everything, test the feeder, push some corn out, and we'll pop our heads out and show you where the road's at. You know, there's nothing simple or easy. about putting a trap in a location like this. It's problematic for everything. Not nearly as problematic as its sister across the way, Spring Hill. If you watch that video, I mean, it's a booger to get in there, to get out and everything. But again, on these semi-permanent traps, you know, in our opinion, this is how it's got to be. If you shove it out there in the field, negative. We know these hogs routinely work up this draw from the swamp, and we catch them before they get to the field. I would prefer to have this trap actually a little deeper. We just can't find a spot for it without having to cut a bunch of trees down. So this works well. Again, we're in here today. That's the problem. Give it a couple days for the human scent to go away. We're back cooking with gas, and then we're just sitting coiled and waiting like a rattlesnake. I mean, we coil and wait, watching these cameras. So let me get to work, because we got to get over to the project, the brother to this trap. So we've got a brother, a sister, and a brother. And then we can get more done. Okay, so we wrapped up trap maintenance here at Bigfoot. Tested the gate. Both cameras are firing and working like they should. So we're going to walk back up here. And so you can kind of see, I'm going to just kind of get out of the way. You can see the little trail we made down here. Again, I would prefer that this trap be deeper in the woods. We don't have much to work with. So, you know, when I say not much to work with, I'm talking about there's just not much woods to work with before we get too close to the bedroom of the hogs and their travel patterns. But out here, you know, you can see out here, we're at the very lower part of this field. So routinely, this is where you're going to see your hog damage, because they're smart enough not to get up above too far, because then humans can see them. One of the things that people never really calculate into it is that when you start looking at these oak trees that grow along the edge of the field, this area here will just get hammered with acorns. So this is the main reason we put the trap right there. What happens is the terrace is right there. So we put the trap in the pathway of the terrace. So when it rains really good, the terrace does its job. It pushes the water, but when it does that, it pushes acorns. The acorns will run literally into the trap. And then they'll push through, and they'll get in the creek, and they'll go downward. And you get a damn good rain, it'll do that. So basically, the same thing happens with the corn. We get a really good rain, the terrace will wash into the trap, and then it pushes the corn down the creek, and then it goes down that creek, and it hits the swamp. So anyway, we've got to get over to the project, go up the top of the hill, reload everything, and give you a little bit more footage. But hopefully that kind of helps you see. Again, this trap, in my opinion, is way too close to this field. Don't like it. I don't have a choice. But it's been very, very successful where it's at, so we go with it. All right. All right, so we're here at the project. So kind of back that way is the Bigfoot trap, and then spin around, and then kind of back that way is the Spring Hill trap. So Spring Hill is on one side of the swamp, Bigfoot and Project on the other side of the swamp. And at the north end, we got a peanut butter station at the north end, and then a peanut butter station at the south end. So essentially, there's 3 traps, theoretically 2 bait sites surrounding the swamp, but we've got crop fields on both sides we're trying to protect. Now the project was added late in the game. The other 2 traps have been here for years, but this year we had a significant breach. Our farmer planted corn, not sweet corn, just regular corn, lost 14 acres due to hogs. We came in, he replanted the 14 acres. We came in with a very aggressive approach, kind of discussed it in other videos. And basically what we ended up doing was in 18 days, we walked this swamp out every day. Had some pretty, not sure if we'll ever post those videos, but it's what I like that. I mean, I'm not real big on thermal work, but you put me in the swamp with a rifle, sneaking around, taking hogs out, that's how we did it on our farm. It's what I enjoy. I like sneaking up on stuff. But took out several hogs that way. And every day we would push this swamp to the south, push it to the south, push it to the south, because on both sides of the south end, we had traps. And ultimately it actually worked. We ended up trapping 25 hogs. We kept pushing them out of the swamp to a trap. and keeping and protecting that cornfield. So we'd protect the cornfield all night long doing thermal work, some really long nights. Get up in the morning, push the swamp, reboot, start over again. All total 18 days, 25 in a trap. Total we had 37. Only shot one in the field with the thermal, but everything else was down in the swamp, basically what I'd call hand-to-hand combat. As a reactionary measure to that, we ended up putting the project trap in, brought it in, and it's kind of on the north end of the trap or the swamp. And so we're actually on someone's land that's not our farmers. We do see that a lot with some of these farmers. The landowners will help the farmer out. And so this land that I'm standing on has nothing to do with my farmer, except the landowner said, hey, it's a business. They got liability insurance. Giddy up. So we're going to ease down there to the project trap, kind of give you an idea. It's the same old Jaeger Pro. It's a single panel or single gate 12 panel system. Mine camera, ice camera, like we always run. And we had to bush hog a little road down in there. What we're standing in right now is a loading ramp. So for you that don't know much about timber, when they're thinning these pines, they'll make a loading ramp where they'll load the timber and they haul it out with 18-wheelers. So some people would think it's a good place for a trap, but we wanted to get closer to the swamp. So, and that being said, not an advertisement. We showed it on another video. I was drinking one of these drinks. I'm not a big chocolate guy, but I like the other ingredients in this. So yes, Hog Trappers drink keto protein shakes, organic. But we did a video where one was thick. That's supposed to be liquid, all right? I'm going to squeeze it now. I know what it really looks like, and I'm not trying to be gross, but I mean, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm fairly confident that there's something wrong here. Okay, look at that. That's supposed to be like a little drink, and I mean, it's coming out like poop. You can tell this one is not thick. It definitely liquid form. And we're going to slam that down before we head down there, and so we can stay shape and stay in the game. So it's a standard Jaeger Pro, as I said earlier, 12 panel single gate. It's the not the oldest gate, but it's not the newest gate. Running a 3-pole on-time feeder. You can tell we've had a little activity, a lot of corn on the ground. Coons don't seem to bother it much, and squirrels don't, so we're not complaining. Running a big pole on the other side. It's a mine camera, not a live video. And then over here, we've got the ice camera. And then I'm gonna walk you down off the hill here, and we'll actually just be boom, right in the swamp. It's that quick. So hold on. I wanted to show you something real quick before we head down there. I don't know if you can see them, these little banana spiders. Man, their webs are so sticky. Hi, fella. But when you're bush hogging, they'll get on your hat and all their sticky webs. But anyway, I'm gonna try to work around them. I mean, they got a plan right here. They're trying to catch some bugs. All right, so we just popped down to the swamp. I mean, we ain't but 35 yards, you know, from the swamp where the trap's at. Now this area here is very wet, even as dry as it is. So what happened, and we showed this in a video yesterday, the beavers had dammed up a section of the swamp, forcing the hogs. Now they can swim like fish, but they ain't no different than us. They're gonna try to take the easy route. So it forced these hogs to come up along here and run this ridge out. And then they'd come out, and there's a big wet spot all down through here. Always been wet, but more wet because of the beavers. So we had to move the Spring Hill trap a couple 100 yards closer to the swamp, kind of work around the beaver problem. And then we're catching them on this route here. Now we haven't actively trapped anything in that trap, but it's there. So you got to kind of learn your property, and when you start seeing beavers coming in your hog trap, something's wrong. Meaning beavers are too close. So we thought it was funny at first and figured out it was causing us to miss hogs. So when we were doing this 18 day project, basically, I'd watch that field, which is where our cornfield is, that direction. I'd watch that cornfield all night and then put on hip waders because it was deep, and then come down through here, and walk this out and then pop my head out. I didn't walk it too deep because I was trying to push them down towards these two traps, not this one here, Bigfoot and Spring Hill. So eventually it worked. They rolled into Bigfoot, gave them a couple of days of that, flipped the switch, 25. So there's no way at thermal operations, waiting for them to come into the field. I mean, we took the fight to them. So we talked about this in another video. Sometimes you got to fight the beast. And whatever the beast is, whether it's the hog, it's something that bothers you internally, and you just keep ignoring it. And you might go for a walk or have a drink or whatever to feel better. Sometimes you just got to grab the bull by the horns and kick its ass. Excuse my language, but that's what we did with these hogs. I took the fight to them because it was personal at that point. I'm giving them all this nice corn and these traps, and everything's beautiful down here. And they had to come up here and take 14 acres of corn, and that's a lot of money to a farmer. I mean, people don't realize, people that watch these videos that farm, they get it. People that don't, well, that's a lot of money. So normally this is pretty wet. It's wetter over that direction, but right now it's just not that wet. I had my head up my ass today, and I left my rubber boots at the house. So all I got is my hiking boots. But this junk right here, that's cottonmouth heaven. They lay up in there because it's damp. But looks like we got some elderberries coming on. That's some good eating right there. And once they start blowing up, but they got plenty of water. Actually, there's one right there. We may have to grab some of that. But anyway, we got to get up here and do our trap maintenance, and then we got to go around the swamp by driving, and then go to the north end and go to the peanut butter station. We serviced the other peanut butter station probably 1 o'clock this morning when we were in there trapping 16 hogs. But we're going to go up here to this peanut butter station. But this is a pretty good travel corridor for them right through here. Not seeing any rooting or anything, so things are working good. And they would find this trap if they were running that ridge. So right now, the name of the game, it's almost July, it's water. It is food, but it's water. So these hogs are going to be looking for irrigated fields, especially cornfields that are irrigated. They're going to get in there, live in the water, and eat their corn. For us, these two fields aren't irrigated, but they're looking for water. They need water to stay cool, stay hydrated. They can't take a lot of the heat. So stay with us. So we got all the trap maintenance done. All cameras are firing. Everything's working. So we're in really good shape. A lot of times what we'll do on systems, we've talked about this before, is I have no idea who they are. I've never read anything about them, but I call it the Hansel and Gretel trail. So we'll make a little corn trail off of the trap down into like a little swamp like that. I mean, hogs can smell corn a long ways. You can research it, Google that. I mean, it's a long way. But sometimes I think they're on a mission and they're just cruising through. And man, these Hansel and Gretel trails, we have good luck with them. It's half a bag of corn, whatever, who cares. So anyway, what we did, I'll turn the camera around so you can see. We just made a little Hansel and Gretel trail. And you don't want a lot of corn. A lot of times, if you got a lot of deer and you got a lot of coons, they're just gonna tear it up. I mean, they're gonna eat it all. And then we'll just run it all the way down to this area down there where we just came from, down there in the swamp. And they might stumble on it and come on up here. This area is full of rubs. I can show you a couple. Again, we've talked about this in other videos. These dirt rubs that you see, those can last on a tree for a very, very long time. So it's not an indicator that it's fresh sign. And on these banana spiders, and that's probably not what they're called. That's what I've always called them. But you'll see here, I ran into one. Their webs are like Spider-Man. I mean, they're just so sticky. They're really hard to get off. I mean, they're just almost impossible to get off your arm. I mean, but they know what they're doing when they make a web. But anyway, little banana spider. But yeah, so we're gonna head back up to the truck. We got to go up to this north peanut butter station and get it taken care of. And hopefully it gives you a little idea. Another thing to note, we talked about this in other videos, is this trap is directly under, wait for it, it is directly under a live oak tree, which is a natural food source. So if this trap stays permanent, we're not sure yet, that's why it's the project. We don't know if we really need a trap here. We've got, one down there on this side of the swamp, one on the other side of the swamp. But with the beavers and what they've done, we want to make sure that we're not missing the hogs when they travel this swamp. But that's a natural food source, and that's why the hogs come up here. They're going to get up under that live oak tree and eat them acorns and give it hell. So that tree will work to our advantage come this fall if we decide to leave the system in play. So 7 o'clock, need to kind of get a move on to get to this north bait site. Kind of show you that. I've got a few ideas about some corrections. This is an experimental project, these peanut butter stations, and I think that we need to change things up. And I think we've got the tools in the Napa truck. That's what we've got, enough tools in there, like a Napa store, to make some changes. So let's get back on the four-wheeler and head up there and reboot. Well, I learned a little lesson. We ended up going to the peanut butter station and making those corrections and videotaped that and videotaped a bunch more stuff. And I had the camera set in slow-mo, so pretty much worthless video footage. Didn't get home till about 10 o'clock and ate my big ass salad, and bam, the single bore came into the double gate system there in Central Florida, so it flipped the switch. So lost some footage. We're trying to get back into it. So ate my big ass salad, took a shower, just come up out of the swamp, working on that peanut butter station, sweating, and got the bride to cut my hair. Usually get a haircut every Sunday, a little behind schedule. So Wyatt's got a baseball tournament tomorrow, so he's going to be heading to Alabama. Zeb's got a sideline job in the morning, so I'm soloing it. So fixing to load up the Tacoma, no trailer, no four-wheeler. Load up rifles and overnight bag, and fixing to head to Central Florida. I'm probably going to do a little footage so y'all can help me stay awake on the drive down there. I'm actually pretty fresh because got some sleep last night. Sleep schedule was a little off, so fortunately for me, after 30 years of my old job, I'm just kind of used to jacked up, messed up sleep patterns. Anyway, so kind of the plan is to get down there, take this single bore out, take advantage of the dark in the sense of we want to move that trap back to its southern location on the property, and we're going to go ahead and grab our gate, throw it on our trailer, and bring it back home. So it's going to be kind of a long night. It's 12:10 right now. We're fixing, pretty much got my gear ready to go. Just got to throw everything in the truck and put it in the wind. So I guess all I can say is hang on. For you that may think, wow, man, midnight, you're going to drive 2.5, 3 hours to kill a single or remove a single hog. Yeah, that's what we do. I mean, it matters to the property owner, and you got to strike while the iron's hot. So the iron's hot, strike. We are extremely focused the next few months to put a lot of pressure on that property to reduce these singles. And again, it's been problematic just due to the distance, to make that trip. It gets expensive, so we've worked that out with the landowner that, hey, this is what we're going to have to do, then do it. We brought the chief trap in and we're rocking. It's a full court press. I played basketball when I was a young man. Probably wasn't very good at it, but I played it and I understand what it means, full court press. So full court press. So get ready for a long night, and hopefully y'all enjoy it.